Well, just want to welcome everybody in and let's talk about some topics having to do with, autism. And like I said before, I just want to share my experiences and maybe you guys will get a head start in where I was not made aware of things. So that's really why I want to get these out. And let me just mess with a few things here. Okay. Now let me get to the topics. Okay. Okay. Where did I leave off yesterday? So basically, what I'm trying to do with these live streams and videos is I just want to give you guys, you parents, you people that interact with autistic children, um, a guide in experience that I've already experienced that you may be able to relate to or you're dealing with that right now and it could really help guide you because I wish I had that guide as I said before. So, okay, let's start with milestones that mean the world to your family. What I would say as far as me, as far as, father seeing um, my kids grow, um, the one thing that you got to realize is that, and you got to be happy with, honestly, and that I'm very happy with is the minimal milestones that your child makes, and I'm speaking directly on my son right now, they feel like big milestones. They feel like getting to the championship game. They feel like making the Super Bowl. Not that I've experienced those things, but they they just are huge in your personalized autism world and or special needs life. And there is no small milestone in my opinion. And just for an example, like, I didn't really have expectations, but I would say back when my son was in, I say second, probably second grade, he started to do more things. And the teacher actually updated me on the fact that he actually, with a para teacher assistant, was able to walk on his own accord and take the tray of cafeteria trays and just bring it back to the cafeteria with someone not guiding him or just walking with him. And that I can't believe that he did that. And those are the type of milestones that you get. And I just feel like there is no little milestone, and you really learn that as you move further in your special needs journey. Moments where your child surprises everyone. Um, I would just say because there are like kind of certain people that interact with my children or a limit of. I think when people interact with my children, they just think they're going to be like physically disabled and like in a wheelchair and everything. And some people are like that, so I don't want to, be, rude or inconsiderate about that. But I think there's a misconception and a surprise when it comes to my children that they are functioning Like my daughter could speak, she could hold a conversation, she could communicate. My my son is nonverbal, but he listens, he intakes everything very well. He does have sensory issues, but it's just not like a completely debilitated child, you know? Like, bottom line is they are children and you can interact with them. So I think that's the biggest surprise, that people jump to conclusions on things that they're not educated about. And I think that's basically that type of example. Small wins that others might overlook. I kind of mentioned that in like the first topic, but small wins as a special needs father, um, with having children that deal with this, small wins are huge in my opinion. And you never underestimate these small wins, because small wins feel so much better than having no win at all. And that is just, that's how I feel about it. Like, you know, you could either have no progress or you could have minimal. And that's just kind of my motto. It's like, no matter how big the progress is with any of my kids, I just want progress, or I want to be on the road to progress. So while a small milestone might occur and you might want more, small is still great. Let me get a little water here. Okay. Um, Lessons your child has taught you about life. Um, I think it's just that no matter what deficiency or what disability or what limitations your child has, like you've never loved a child as much as that child. Meaning, it doesn't matter if your child is debilitated or has limitations and stuff. Like, you didn't realize how much you could love a child that you have to take extra care of, that you have to be extra fragile with. And sometimes going into that, you didn't think you'd be like that, or you think you'd be like kind of skittish, but you love your child more, or you just love them the same. And you know, that's a lesson that at least I was taught, that I didn't realize how much I could really love my children during this process, and that's something they taught me. Okay. How special needs parenting changed you in a person, or as a person? Um, Me, as far as changing, um, I feel like it's changed everything. The fact that in my head, like, I wasn't a big note taker, but it's just, you just find ways to constantly educate yourself, how you have to map out your child's day when they're not in school to just make sure that they're safe, they don't take any crazy risks. And um, I just think everything, uh, like, it changes. I feel like you're micromanaging, and um, you preparation. Like, if I'm gonna do dinner, I'm like, man, my daughter likes this, but my son doesn't like this, and my other son doesn't like this either. So sometimes you're plotting in your head. You got to make like three meals, three separate meals. So there's just a. It's just, it's crazy what it's taught me and changed me, or uh, has shown me who I am as a special needs parent, because like my brain is never, it's never relaxed. Um, I just feel like I'm constantly planning, and As far as getting resources and things in school, I have to always be on the ball, um, because people that give resources and the schools, they don't just hand out the help. You got to fight for it, and you got to really make them realize that you're not stupid. I know what's expected, what uh, what kind of advocacy I'm supposed to get, and sometimes they treat you like that. And I think um, how it's changed me also is you have to reprove yourself every day. It's not like, we're content. You got to reprove yourself every day that you could do this job, because this is one hell of a job. Learning patience and advocacy. I mentioned that on my past live stream, that I think that's the biggest thing that being a special needs parent has taught me is patience. Sometimes, especially with my son that's nonverbal, sometimes you're having a roadblock at communicating, and it's very hard sometimes. But you gotta have patience, because literally the next second it'll pop in your head. Oh, that's what they were trying to say, or that's what he was meaning. So patience is a real big key as far as being a parent in general, and being a special needs parent. You got to have just the utmost. So, and as far as advocacy, I think that's something that I really learned. I felt like, in the beginning, when you have a child that has autism or special needs, you're you're kind of thinking, oh, these people are just gonna help me. I get these, special resources now, so um, I think I'll get them. But really, you got to fight for everything. You have to be your child's advocate. I can't tell you how much I've fought with the schools, the school districts, and they won't budge for you. And then you have to go to a third party and get them to literally say the same words that you were saying. And then now the school and the school district listens. So it's crazy how much you do have to be your child's advocate. And um, part of it is like, man, why do I have to work this hard for people just to understand me or give me the resource I need? And the other part is kind of fulfilling. Like, if I didn't try that hard, my son wouldn't be getting the therapy that he's getting now, or the help he's getting now. So it's a double edged sword. Um, Managing stress and burnout. I mean, this is the big one. I mean, you know, stress is just never ending. Um, and that goes along for every parent, but stress is just sometimes it's really hard to deal with. And um, I think the constant is you're always going to be stressed and burned out, but you got to figure out a way to just get a tiny bit of adult time to get out of the house without your children, if you have the ability to do that. Um, and in the beginning, I was getting really burned out. I was kind of, you know, I was kind of lashing out when I didn't need to, at help and all that. And until I realized that I'm just overworked here. Like, I just need a moment of clarity, um, to get like maybe an hour or two to myself, which definitely, if you're in the running for respite as a parent, definitely seek that out, because it does help. And you just got to always think about self care. Honestly, I know as a parent, you're so focused on your children, you're not thinking about anything else. You're going to deny help. But if you deny respite or self care, you are literally going to drop face first on the floor. Um, so, as far as stress and burnout, learn in the beginning, it might be hard to deal with, but learn how to manage it better as you move day by day, because it will help you in the long run. Protecting your mental health. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I had therapy, and just it helped me a little bit just to like have someone else listening to the everyday struggle that I deal with, and like my schedule throughout the day, how I don't get a lot of help, and how that's stressing me out. And I think as far as mental health, like I would invest to you parents out there into a therapy. Doesn't have to be like 10 times a week, just maybe like once a week or once every couple weeks, just so you can kind of vent and get that uh, mental health in check if you feel like it's kind of being affected by your everyday life as dealing with special needs children. I kind of talked about this already, but finding time for yourself is really a big key. And I think in the beginning we don't really look for that, which to me I think that's uh, a little feather in the cap saying that how focused you are on your children. But in the end, while it doesn't have to be frequent, because I think some parents might have FOMO and they just want to do everything, when in reality maybe you shouldn't do everything. But that's just my opinion. But you really need to time. You need to find time for yourself. Like just for an example, for me, like my other YouTube channel, the Authentic Take. It's strictly my sports channel, and I didn't find that immediately, but I was like, this is the thing I like to do. I like to talk about sports, and I want to set up, like a lane for a hobby that I'm really interested in when I might only be able to do like one thing for myself. And I did that, and it really gives me the other thing to focus on besides my children. When sometimes your brain needs a little replenish and focus, a little focus on yourself. That's the one thing I say, like parents, your main priority when you have kids and special needs kids is your children, but you have to also make yourself a priority as well. But because if you drop dead, who's going to take care of your children, really? I mean, I don't think any parent wants someone else taking care of their children rather than themselves. So you really need to invest, if you're not doing it yet, in finding time for yourself. Um, what I wish someone would have told me earlier. Um, I guess the thing I wish someone would have told me earlier is that um, you can't control, people that are not educated with special needs children to judge your children. And I've said that already, but it's just a hard thing when you're out in the public and you just like my son, he'll like flap his hands, he'll go like this, and he'll go like this, and he'll do different things, or he'll just like let his like hand flap and he'll like watch it. But when you're out in public and you just notice all these people watching, it's kind of striking, and it's just it makes you take it so internal. And I wish someone told me before how much you have to deal with judgmental eyes. It's kind of crazy. Um, and that might be too broad for that kind of bullet point right there, but um, yeah, it's the judgmentalness, I guess, of everybody that doesn't have the education or the experience is just mind blowing. I guess that's what I could say to sum that up. Resources that helped your family. Um, Stuff that I get, I think I mentioned it too, while working with a regional center. Um, I was trying so hard, and this is where like you could never give up on stuff. I was trying so hard to get the diaper program My aunt was telling me to get it, and I wasn't kind of sure how to go about it. Um, but I ended up, you have to like get a referral from the doctor, and then, they link you in with everything, and it takes some time. But that's one resource. Um, I don't know as far as like actually using well, the diaper program is good. It gives you diapers for your child that last a month, and it's a monthly thing. And they give you like wipes, they give you like bed covers. It just they give you a lot of stuff like rash cream or like deodorizer spray and stuff. Um, so that stuff is very helpful. I'm trying to think of any other like kind of resource. Um, I do get benefits for my son as well monthly, which is nice. But um, these resources, they're good to get, and you really need to fight for them because they are yours or your child's. Is You got to be so aggressive on getting your paperwork done, pushing these things through, these electronic signatures, everything. You have to be so dedicated on getting this stuff done right away because sometimes these places will sit on it. And just an example of that, this regional center I'm talking about, it's only for my daughter and my first son. My youngest son is in the process of being diagnosed with ADHD right now, and he was only labeled with speech therapy. And I applied at the same regional center, and they sat on my application for 14 months. Like, I would love the denial or anything, but I had all the receipts, and I called them all pissed off and being like, so does my son get this resource, or are you guys just sitting on this application? Because that's what they will do. So you have to be super aggressive, constant check-ins. Don't let too much time lapse, because I've done that, and the resource has completely lapsed to where you got to start all the way over. So that's my thing with, yes, I have resources that help my family, but to obtain them, you have to be super aggressive with this because no one will just give you this. Um, how to build a support system? It's a good question. I don't know if I'm there yet with that. Um, I feel like singular, just myself. I've built kind of a good support system for myself, and knowing that I'm doing everything to the best of my ability, even when I think I'm not. I remind myself that half these parents out there like have no idea what I'm dealing with. And it's not a comparison to other parents, but I guess maybe that's something that special needs parents kind of do because we just think the other parents, kind of they just don't have to deal with this additional mountain that we're dealing with. So I don't want to sound like disrespectful to other parents, but sometimes not knowing um I don't know. Trying to word this. I don't know. So sometimes um, there's always a comparison with special needs parents and regular parents, and um, it's hard. I think that's kind of the support system thing. Is your support system is reminding yourself that you're doing everything that you can, even though you compare yourself to other parents that might be doing more. But you got to realize that you're your own parent. You're living your own life, and that's pretty much my support system. Just reminding myself that I've maybe a little bit more on my plate than the regular parent, and that I'm still doing what I can every day. If that makes any sense. Encouragement for parents who just received a diagnosis. Well, encouragement is your child is still healthy. Your child is still living. Your child still loves you. So that is the blessing right there. That is my encouragement. And when you get this, you know, your life and your kid's life is not over. So encouragement is now you finally have a diagnosis basically on concerns that you always had, and now you could do something about it. I think the diagnosis is always good because now it's like you could start from that day on and be hustling for resources and learning and just any way to help your child, because it's kind of like before the diagnosis you got a smoke screen. So encouragement for parents who just received a diagnosis is nothing is over and your life is just getting started right now. So buckle up and get ready, and let's progress together. Well, I guess that's it for me right now. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the topics, or if you're dealing with any of this. And if you have questions, I would love to answer them back. Um, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. And this has been the Authentic Pulse. Till next time.